It wants to seem like it wants to run all the time. So the first thing we're going to do is open up the top. Okay, so you can hear that noise. And it looks like it could be the flapper, or it could be this device. And you can see where the water line is. You can either use a pencil and mark it, or just go where the water line has already been. Okay. Is we're going to turn off the water. Okay, water's turned off, the noise stopped. Okay? So what you want to do is pull the flapper off of each of the pegs. Okay, remove the flapper. Take the chain off the handle. Okay, remove the whole thing. Okay, well, I had a little trouble with the flapper, so I had bought one, but the distance between here and here was greater than the one that I needed. Didn't realize that when I bought it, but it was. So I installed this one, but it didn't work. It wouldn't seal up. It just wasn't working. So now I got the correct flapper, so we're gonna install that. Remember, turn off the water first. Put your new flapper in. Okay, now it's not touching the drain pipe like the other one was. Everything's freely working nicely. Now, I don't want it to be too long. I want to just make it down to the flapper. So I'm going to change the place where it hooks up, a lower part of the chain, like so, and then hook it through the hole. Okay, now the chain's hooked up, flapper's in. Let's turn the water back on. Takes a little while to fill up. Okay, now the water's all the way to the top. But I can hear some water still in the flush valve. Actually, it stopped right now. It's actually stopped. So if you don't want to go any further, you don't have to. Okay? I believe it fits the problem. I can either change the flush valve or not. Let's try it. Okay, now that the flapper is working properly, but I already have the new flush valve. So this toilet is 15 years old, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and change the flush valve, just so I could show you. I already bought it. I bought the kit because I was unsure if it was just the flapper or both. I'm gonna go ahead and change the flush valve though. Now again, you turn off the water. Go ahead and flush. Now we're what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a rag or a towel, get a bucket, okay, because you're going to disconnect the supply line. When you go to disconnect the supply line, there is still some water remaining in the tank. It's going to come out. So have a bucket there ready to get that, collect that water. Some's still going to get on the floor, so that's what you want the rag or the towel for. Should be hand tight, you shouldn't need the pliers. And I was able to loosen it up by hand. Okay, now there's another nut that holds the flush valve in. Now that one seems a little tighter, so I'm going to use the wrench. Now, here's the kit. You have your flush valve, okay, your hose, this piece that goes onto the end of the hose and clips into the drain, the overflow drain, and the nut that goes on the bottom of this. Now it has a tapered edge. Has a tapered edge. You want that to go up in here, okay? It's this way. When it goes up, this washer, you see how it's indented? These two, once all the way in, will line up with this, okay? If you put it in the other way, it's going to leak. Okay, that will not line up. It'll go over this and you're going to have water on your floor. Okay, so first thing you want to do is you twist it, take it to where you want it, and turn it. Now, I say to where you want it, but this edge should line up with this drain pipe that the hose is going to go into, okay, overflow pipe, okay? So you want that in there. Now, if the water's too low and you want the water higher, you're going to turn it, okay, and move it up. If the water's too high, you'll turn it, push it down, and turn it, okay? That's going to regulate how much water you have in your tank. All right, some people like less, some people like more, okay? If you do set it up and you don't like how it's flushing, you have to flush twice, then just take your lid off your tank, turn it, lift it up, and turn it into back in there. See, it has little grooves, okay? You can see these grooves. so it will set. Right now it's set. Once you lock it in place, it's set, it won't go down. If you turn it, it'll go down, but then you lock it in place again. Okay, that's gonna regulate how high your water is in your tank. So you're gonna want to figure that out for yourself. My rule of thumb is to line this up with the top of the overflow, because you always want your water to be lower than the overflow so it does not continue to run. Okay? All right, let's put this in. Oh, one more thing. The hose goes, now these are a little tough to put on the nipple, but if you have a tough time, just run some hot water. Put it under the hot water, it'll help expand it a little. Just put it on and twist. That's without running it on hot water. That works. Okay, now this little piece is what's going on to the hose, and then this part of the clip clips on the overflow pipe. So, okay. Maybe put the hose in a little hot water and make it easier on yourself. Okay. Now, okay, get that in the hole. All right, now put the clip on here. Okay, a little stubborn. You can move that around, you know, this way or that way once you have everything set. Okay, now that we have this in, try to line this up with just below the overflow. But you can see through the years the water has made a line. So if you can't identify to there, make that to the line. Okay? Remember, don't put it on like this. You put the beveled edge up. Put the bevel edge so it hits the bottom of the tank when you screw it on tight. Get that screwed on nice and tight, and then put your supply line back on. All of this can be done hand tight. Okay, now everything's hooked up. I pushed the hose over to the side because it was touching the lever and chain where the flapper would go up and down. So I didn't want that to interfere. I just moved it around and now it's on the overflow. Okay, let's fill her up. Okay, at this point, put your hand underneath here and check for leaks. Because if anything starts leaking, now's the time to fix it. Everything's hand tight, but I had to do it with my left hand, but no leaks. We'll let it fill up and check it some more. Okay, stopped right at the line again. No noise, yay, no leaks. Check it again, everything's nice and dry. That's it. Now my toilet's not running all the time. Not going to use up water. This one you could have just changed the flapper and it would have been fine. But being it's 15 years old and I bought the kit, I went ahead and replaced everything. But if you open up your tank and you see that the flapper is getting deteriorated and you want to just buy the flapper, then go ahead and see if that works. Alright? Building with Papa. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Alright, see you on the next one. Boy, that's so good.